So friends, it is September the 1st, 2017, and you can see that it is raining like crazy out there. And we are expecting flooding and flash floods and that kind of stuff, which we've had some flooding here before from high rains in 2011, I believe it was, where it flooded Opryland Hotel and Opry Mills, and it devastated a lot of stuff around here. Luckily, I live on high ground. You can see I'm way up high, so I'm not in any danger, but other people are. So we're gonna just look around today and see if there's any places where the water is high. It was high recently too. I did a drone video, I don't know, 3 months ago, something like that, here in Hendersonville, down by William Lee Golden, one of the Oak Ridge boys' house. William Lee is the one that's got the long hair that looks kind of like a mountain man, and by his house is a creek, which is not far from my house, and that creek tends to get full pretty fast. So we're going to ride down there and just look right there real quick. In fact, there's a stop sign there, and there's a, back in 2011, I believe it was, there was a newspaper reporter got a picture of someone literally holding on to that sign, trying to keep from getting swept away, and we're talking about the top of the sign. And I believe that I'm remembering that right. And pretty incredible picture. But we're gonna go look. So friends, from my memory, they were holding on to the stop sign, and you can see they're clearly actually away from that stop sign, closer to another stop sign. And here I'm going to point at the telephone pole that I believe it is right there. And look how high that water is. And boy, it was really rushing. That was a dangerous position for them to be in. Real dangerous. So this is the intersection that I was talking about when we round this corner. William Lee Golden lives on the right. And it's not a stop sign here now. It used to be a stop sign. And of course there's a high school right here. That's William Lee's house right there. You can see his face on the tree. And let's see how high the creek is. Yep, it's going there. Look at there. And it wasn't too long ago that this road here, there was a stop sign, and this was completely underwater and raging. So you could see that they're saying that this road is closed right here. So they're expecting it to flood, I would imagine. But right now we're looking good. It wasn't too long ago that the water was up on top of this. But you can see that it is raging right there. So there's something happening. Stay tuned. So friends, I am headed downtown since I don't see anything really happening at the river. Doesn't seem to be that bad, but you can see the cloud cover and stuff downtown, the buildings down there. It's raining up something. That right there is messed up, friends. Would you want to do that in the rain? It's really nasty today down here, friends. So where we're going is the Country Music Hall of Fame, which is that building right here. See the top on it? So friends, I got the Gray Ghost parked in the parking garage. I went down to the bottom level and just happened to notice this. Look at this. Now, I wouldn't be happy if my vehicle was parked, if the Gray Ghost was parked over there in that water. I mean, you see it's actual waves. It looks like the beach. And they do have a pump over here going that's pumping it down, but wow. So let me just tell you that I ain't parking down here. I don't want the Gray Ghost underwater. So boy, they really want to do that bad right there. It's nasty out here today. So friends, we're inside the Country Music Hall of Fame, and you can see the Mike Curb Conservatory. They actually have a long staircase that goes up, and there's displays up there. They have places for you to sit, and you can eat in here. And sometimes they'll have musicians in here playing, and they call that the the 222 5th Avenue South full service eatery, which is what this is. You can see this has been sponsored by Ford Motor Company, Country Music Association, Dollar General, Vince Gill, and Amy Grant. They're really the only, well, Tim and Faith Hill here, BMG, BMI, Mike Curb, CMT, The Frist, Margaret and Cal Turner Jr., Warner Music, Dollar General. So it's a pretty cool place, and it's nasty outside today, so I thought this would be a good place to come film today if there's something I can film. And I heard that there's something really special here. Jack White from the White Stripes, which is, he's a solo artist now. He actually lives here in Nashville, and you can visit his place. He has a record store and stuff, not far from here. I hear that he either owns the first or the second acetate that Elvis recorded his son before, when he was just showing up and paying. I believe it was $3.95 to make an acetate when he was showing up and recording. I don't know which one's here, but Jack bought one of them, and from my recollection, he paid about $300 for it. And it is on display here at the Country Hall of Fame, so I hope we get to go see it. Stay tuned. So friends, I didn't find them to be very nice here. And they were kind of like, okay, so you do what, do what? Nah, we don't, the acetate's put up, we really don't care if you see it or not, and you can't film at RCA Studio B, yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. So they kind of shut me down, so I have no reason to go in there. And so that's the end of this story. I will show you a picture of Jack White's acetate. But the next thing I may do is I may just go to Ask Jack White. What do you think about that? Stay tuned, friends. So friends, since I was having technical difficulties there with my sound, and I apologize for that, the background noise is just horrendous. And it came through. I thought it was better than that, and I apologize. I tried to reduce the background noise and bring my voice up, but I know it sounded bad. This was the black and white TV test pattern that RCA developed. And notice there's even an Indian in there, and this is original, friends, from way back in the day. So I walked out of there to here. My vehicle is down here. Couldn't go. This is Buddy Killen. This is the guy that bought Bill Black's bass. An ode to him. The Music City Walk of Fame, November 2007. Merle Kilgore. Elvis Presley right here, friends. November 2008. That's Elvis's star. So we're going to see if we can see that acetate. Yes, we are. And film it with Jack White. Yes, we are. So friends, we're downtown Nashville. You can see that that's downtown. This is a new highway bridge. I shouldn't say a highway. It's a bridge, like an on-ramp coming from downtown. And they've actually, that building right there, I think, is going to stay, but they went right beside it. But you can see how close this is to these existing buildings. And there was a building right here that they tore down that I actually pulled up here and sat here in the Gray Ghost one day and videoed the train going by. This was concrete up here at that time. So I'm gonna run up here. Of course, it's, even though it's raining out there, it's nice up here because I'm under the bridge. And you can see, well, ooh, boy, look at that mud. I don't want to get in that. So this was where I was parked on the Gray Ghost. I'll see if I can find that footage. I may not be able to, but this right here is where I was. That's what that looks like down there from up here. You can see where I'm at now. I'm up on I-40.
Hi there.
Hey there. I'm doing great. How about you?
Good. Welcome.
This is Jack White's place. See, they're in there listening. She's over there playing. That's a booth that you can actually record in. And that booth was on the Jimmy Fallon show. I think she may be getting ready to go in there and record. So he is all about history and coolness. The name of his company is Third Man Records. He was with the White Stripes. And you can see that he's got all kinds of cool, old school looking things. Everything that he does is really cool. And you can see there's 3 men there. That's Third Man. I went and saw him. I got to see him. Me and Lori went in the Madison Square Garden. Didn't get to see Elvis. We saw Jack White. And it was epic, to say the least. That was maybe 2 years ago in New York City. So I got to see a concert at Madison Square Garden, and it was Jack White. But he also has this film booth here. You can get in here, and it makes the old-timey 4-picture deal, like you would think of, this kind of deal. I was talking about Rufus Thomas, which is Bearcat. He was on the Sun label. And Bearcat was the answer to Hound Dog. A lot of people have jumped on me because when I was making the video about the Elvis's parking ticket, I didn't remember who Rufus Thomas was. You see, that's a Sun record. There's Bearcat right there. How cool is that? He's all about the amazing stuff like that.
This vacuum mode is going to go off in about 40 seconds. That timer that will not frame is going to count down 150 seconds, which is 2 minutes and 20 seconds or so. Okay. And that'll cut you down, do it with your song, whatever, all that fun stuff. And then when you're done, you're going to step up here, you're going to hang out for a couple minutes, and then it's going to shoot that thing right out of the slot vending machine. Super, super easy, and then together we'll check it, make sure it's cut it all right. But all you need to know is when the vacuum always starts, just hit the red light, and that turns on. Okay. Sound good?
Yes.
All right, go ahead, hop on now, get you going.
Oh, don't mind at all.
Right.
Yeah, we're good.
That's more like, you know,
Oh, for cool. It really is. Are y'all from back? We're about 45 minutes. Okay, so you're not far.
The band plays along with it, so it's kind of like the same as
that we have on top of the film. Oh, like those people. You know, those people. Yeah. It's not what they're nice big.
the whole band.
Yeah, I mean, we do.
You walk back, we have class, you can see that.
Here we do have,
One's right now.
I think that we call it the balloon troop.
So there's the record.
There's the record.
There it is.
Yeah, well done. Good choice of song.
Oh, thank you. Even though I forgot
Oh, that's okay.
Hey, Iron and Wine forgot words last night on stage during a live recording. Wait, who did it? Iron and Wine. Oh. That's going to be on a recording.
So they recorded, she recorded her voice in here. You get in here and there's a microphone right there. When the recording light is on, you go. And it comes out. I will come back soon and do this, friends, and film it.
We should go in and just say Are these for sale or just for vacation? No, that's stickers.
Elvis playing the whole Jews called Mr. Candyman. Mr. Candyman. Always take a chance to stick to this again, man.
Oh, look at that. That's what I love anymore. That's why
I'm Kinsey Crow. My band is Kinsey Crow and the Flaming Hots. We're on Facebook and Instagram, K Crow Flaming Hots.
Very cool. So you just made a record here.
I did just make a record here, yeah.
That's incredible. How's that feel?
It feels good. I feel like I accomplished.
I thought you did. I thought you did real well.
Thank you very much.
That's very cool, man. That's epic to be able to do that. That's old school.
That is old school. Yeah,
that's really
I really
cool.
like it.
So she's here at Jack White's place, y'all, and she made a record today.
Yes.
So there you go. So go check her out.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you
so
very
much.
much.
So friends, you see that this thing says in June of 1953, Elvis Presley made his first ever recording directly to Acetate at Sun Studios in Memphis, and that was a very similar process to what you just saw the young lady going in the booth and cutting a record and then coming out, and that's basically a similar process to what he did that day. The thing that's wrong here is it actually happened on July the 18th, 1953, not in June of 1953. But something that is right here, it says, this one-of-a-kind piece of music history was recently purchased by Jack White at auction. That happened in, I believe, January of 2015, and he paid $300,000 for it. Now, he transferred this to the digital realm and reissued it in a record that looks exactly like this record. And I'm going to show you some of those things in a moment. But the thing I respect about Jack White is he respects the music history and the things that went into it. And he has done well. So he's got enough money to preserve something like this, put it where it needs to be, release it, and also even make a copy of it so people like me and you can actually own something that is an exact facsimile of it. So this gentleman right here is a man named Alan Stoker. He is the curator of recorded sound collections at the Country Music Hall of Fame that we were in, a museum. And he has transferred many important records to disc. And this is Jack and him doing this, and I believe this is a video. I think you can watch this video of this transfer on YouTube. Just look up Jack White and My Happiness transfer, and I believe you can watch this. Now, there's an interesting little footnote. This man, Alan Stoker, actually met Elvis in 1960 when he was on his way to do the Frank Sinatra special, and he was coming through Nashville at Union Station, which is where the trains met at one time. That's actually a hotel. I have a video of Union Station I actually shot today when it was raining. Here it is. So anyway, Alan has a tie to Elvis because he actually met him in person, which would have been 1960, and that was a long time ago, friends. So these guys created history right here by recreating this record where you can actually buy it. So look online and see if you can find it. And I would imagine that he has sold them all. It was a limited run, but you can, of course, look up Jack White. I think it's Jack White III for thirdman.com. And this is Jack actually inspecting the original acetate. And the next photo is the acetate on display in, I believe this is in the Country Music Hall of Fame. Now this could have been at Jack's place, because I know for a period of time that they had it on display there. And I am going to show you a couple of different angles of it. And I feel pretty confident this is the display at Third Man Records. The next display is the display at the Country Music Hall of Fame, but unfortunately they've got it put up somewhere now. One of the most important pieces of rock and roll history they've got in the back, which doesn't make sense. Here it is on a turntable. And here's what they look like. These are the ones that he had made. You can see they look exactly like the real thing. So now I'm going to take a moment to dispel some myths. This is Elvis in front of Sun Records Memphis recording studio after, of course, this acetate was made, at least a year after. He cut That's All Right Mama just a hair less than a year after he cut My Happiness. He cut That's All Right Mama on July the 5th, 1954. And so it was just a hair less than a year. But there's a rumor going around, and I say a rumor, you know, they've created all these stories and myths about Elvis. And of course, I've studied it, so the story does not go exactly like everybody says it went. So here is an example, and that's where your heartache begins, is on the flip side of this record. That's the two that he cut the very first time he walked into Memphis recording studio, and Elvis was actually unemployed at that time. He was not working for Crown Electric, as everyone would have you believe. The other myth is that he had this record made for his mom. He said that, but the reality was he was trying to get Sun Studios to listen to him, I believe, after he heard The Prisonaires released, which was on the Sun record label. So The Prisonaires was a group that was actually held, they had committed crimes, every one of them, but they had put a group together in the prison here in Nashville that we call The Last Castle. It was in the movie The Last Castle. It was also in the Green Mile. It's now abandoned, but these guys were incarcerated there and actually were pursued and recorded there. Their first hit was Just Walking in the Rain, which was released and recorded in June of 1953. That was Sun's first hit, and Elvis went, remember, in July the 18th of 1953. I believe he heard this recording and thought Sun Labels is where I need to go because they're kind of new and they're just starting and they're getting some hits, so I may have a chance there, and I believe that's why he went that day. So friends, I threw out that Elvis did not buy this record for his mama, as people have said. And I don't doubt that he told Marion that, because that's something you'd say to kind of take the edge off. But the reality is something else very different happened to that record than you would think. This next photograph is in Humes High School. The guy in the front circle is a guy named Ed Leek, L-E-E-K. The guy in the back circle is Elvis, of course. They were friends, and Ed loaned Elvis the $3.95 to go and get the acetate made. When it was done, he took the acetate back to Ed Leek's house and played it on the record player so he could hear himself. You know why he didn't take it home? Because they didn't own a record player. They were poor. So Gladys never heard this record, to my knowledge. If she did, there's no record of it. And Ed Leek passed away, and his daughter is the one that put it up for auction and sold it, that Jack White bought. So now you know the rest of the story. So two rumors dispelled right here. The first one is that Elvis was in fact not working for Crown Electric when he made this record. The next one, Elvis did not make this record for his mama because his mama never got the record. Ed Leek had the record for 60 years, and when he passed, his daughter sold it. So now you know the rest of that story, friends. So the guy on the left in this photograph is Ed Leek. The lady on the right is Marion Keisker, which is the one that recorded this record for Elvis, that he supposedly told that it was for his mama. The guy in the middle is authenticating the record. So my whole point here is, friends, that Elvis was smart enough to hear the Prisonaires, and he really loved that type of music, gospel-type music, quartet-type music, and he thought, here's a local record company that's doing the kind of music that I really love, and I think I want to go over there and talk to them and see what they can do for me and get them to hear me, so maybe they'll put me in a quartet. Of course, you know that they didn't put him in a quartet because he ended up Elvis Presley, the king of rock and roll. But he loved that kind of music, and I've got some stories coming out soon that'll prove to you that he loved the quartet type setup so much that he almost, if my sources are right, he almost tried to get out of his Sun contract to sing in a quartet, believe it or not. That'll be an upcoming story as soon as I can make sure that all of that is true, but that's sure what I've been told, and we're going to investigate it, friends. And I thank you so much for watching this and sticking with me. And on this channel, as you know, I do things that are a little more in depth. This is a mixture of a couple of things that happen in a day. I will probably do the shortened version of this on the Spa Guy channel, and of course you're on the weekly Spa Guy channel. And what I do on the weekly Spa Guy channel is a little bit more spread out type stuff. So I thank you so much for watching, and I got a little bit more to say about Jack White. Stay tuned. So I'm going to conclude this video by saying that when I went over to Third Man Records, I left them one of my Spa Guy YouTuber cards, wrote my phone number on it, and told Jack White on it to look at the Elvis Meets Scotty the First Time video and give me a call. So friends, let's see if it works. I hope it does. We need to see that acetate, and I want to make a video about it. And I think if I take the owner of it to see it, which is Jack White, I think we could probably get video footage of it. So Jack, if you've watched this, call me, my friend. All we want to do as Elvis fans, we want to see it. I don't even have to touch it, but I do want to see it. And I want to make a video about it so the Elvis fans can see it. This is important music history, and it needs to be put on film in a way that brings the reality to Elvis, not just the mystique of Elvis. I want it. My videos are about the real person Elvis, not some guy that you put in a box somewhere and take him out when you want him. Tighten up every chance you get, friends, and stay tuned. Watch another video. You got time. Go ahead. It's all right.